Good evening, everyone. Feels so good to meet you all through this platform. GCT Alumni Association and Vice Service Club of GCT Youth is humbled to present a wonderful webinar series, Great Conversations and Talks, bringing GCT alumni back to campus. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 14th episode of our webinar series. We are extremely happy to have Ms.Niranjana Balasundaram, an alumna of GCT from batch 1995 CSE. I extend my warm welcome to our eminent guest speaker, Ms. Niranjana Balasundaram, ma'am, respected Dr. V. Prasannamurthy, sir, Secretary of GCT Alumni Association, proud alumni of GCT who are gathered here, and all the participants of our webinar. Before moving on to the webinar, we have some ground rules. All the participants are kindly asked to mute yourselves. If you have any queries or questions, please use the chat box. With this welcome note, I hand over the session to our guest speaker. Over to you, ma'am.
Hey, thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening and good morning to those who have joined from faraway places. I'm Niranjana Balasundaram, graduated from GCT in 1995, CSE branch. And then I also searched for the meaning of life, so I ended up in the US for some time and came back to India in 2010. Done a couple of things, started my company, closed it down. I started as a freelance consultant, mother of two, and so on and so forth. At the moment, I'm employed with Netgear in Bangalore in the research and department. I'm responsible for their mobile applications and the cloud architecture at the moment. My talk today is called Keep Flowing. What a wonderful word that is, keep flowing. It's inspired by two things, I must say. One is when I had the opportunity to visit Rishikesh 2 years back, and when I read the book, When Breath Became Air by Paul Colani. It's a life thought, so be with me and ask questions, and I want this to be a conversation. All of you may think Ganges starts as Ganges. No, she is a confluence of two rivers, Alaknanda and Bhagirathi, in a place called Devaprayag. To your left, you see Alaknanda. To your right, you see Bhagirathi, as you see the screen. There's two subtle rivers, and when they merge together, the confluence creates Ganges, and she starts her journey from there. She's as fearful, I find, and as calm as she goes. She has the capacity to create fertile lands, and she has the capacity to destroy when she's angry. So I thought, isn't our life the same? We start somewhere and we have a clear destination, which is when our breath becomes air. When I have breath, I'm life, and I can create changes in others' life. But when my breath becomes air, I'm no more. The gap between my source and my destination is what is in front of me. That is my journey. And to do this journey, I may need some life skills, and I must need these life skills. So in this talk today, I can't talk about all these life skills that are there on the screen, but I've chosen two of them. One is being, which is this quarter, where you see, which is about self-care. The other quarter is about managing, and that too, managing, I call it financial fitness. I'll talk about it even more. Keep flowing. The first concept that I call or I learned is called Ikigai. Now, I hope some of you know Tamil. When I first heard this word, Ikigai, it sounds like Parangika and Kirkanga. So I thought, what is this Ikigai is all about? It's about when we talk about our journey in this limited time, there must be a purpose. We all are purpose driven. When we get up every day morning, we look for a purpose. And sometimes we do not know, I mean, we can carry on with our life, doing things, etc. But then, only when we know the purpose, we excel at it. And some of it, from the beginning, we know a clear purpose in which we have to lead our life. Sometimes we may not know. And our purpose is to find that purpose. And Ikigai, it's a Venn diagram pretty much. It helps us to find the purpose. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is okay, I know my purpose. How do I get there? I may love to do a couple of things, but unless otherwise, it pays my bills. How do I do that? So, the second quarter that I'm going to talk about is called financial fitness, being able to do the things that you love to do. Third thing is okay, I have a purpose, I have the means to get to the purpose, but if you are not yourself, how will you get there? So the third quarter that we are talking about is called self-care. So this is the agenda in which this is going to happen. It's a pretty clear Venn diagram. You start somewhere, and pretty much you start in this quarter which says what the world needs, and you will get to what you are good at, and what you really would love to do, what you can be paid for. A combination of all these things is the thing that will drive you. By the way, you can have many ikigai. You may be good at 15 different things, and you may love to do 20 different things, and you can be paid for 10 different things. The world may need 4 different things. So at the end, you will arrive at your purpose. I want you to have a very close look at this particular Venn diagram if you make also. Sometimes when we have a job, we get up in the morning, we get ready, go to work. We drag ourselves. Today I must go to work. I must do this because I have so many dependents and I must pay their bills. That's not what you want to do. You must get up every day morning thinking you're going to make a difference. You must do what you love to do and it pays your bills. That is Ikigai. I was thinking I must give some examples, and I was researching on some of the GCTs who have done that. And I'm going to give an example of a person who is 80 years old also. I hope you understand this concept of Ikigai. You have when your passion meets your mission and vocation and your profession, there is your purpose. Sometimes, as I said, you may know your purpose from the very beginning. There are blessed souls who know their purpose from the very beginning. Some of us, our Ikigai is to find the purpose. So I hope you will find your purpose by doing this. And by the way, there are tools. It's pretty much a Venn diagram, as I said. You write all these things on a piece of paper, and this can change every stage of your life. And as you progress, as you keep doing, first time you may do a startup, or second time you may just take a guitar lesson. Third time you may simply do a non-profit organization. Whatever it may be, as long as you are yourself, your intrinsic value, or things that bring you internal happiness. Don't worry about external, internal happiness, the one that will keep you going every day. That is your Ikigai. I was reading about S. Ramakrishna. Actually, I have read about him in Tamil magazine, but I never knew he's a GCT alumni. He is the president of Samar Seva, whose only purpose is to help differently abled people. He's beautifully done so. Second one, very recently I heard Patmanaban Gopalan is the ambassador of. I was like, Wow, isn't that cool? Such engaged. He knew, I read about him in Wikipedia, of course, right? He started a green club in GCT, and so he went. I do not know how he found his purpose or how he's doing it, but I thought it was very cool that he found what he wanted to do and he loved to do. So I thought, okay, there are two people that I know whose connection is with GCT. The third person, which blew myself away, was uh, Srimati Dimaka. She's 80 years old and she's a Padma Shri awardee recently, right? And purpose was to plant trees. And she is the oldest person to feature in this list. By the way, I do not know whether there is a Tamil movie called Unnal Mudiyum Thambi. I think it's Tamil movie. There was this similar character. There was this old man whose purpose was to he would just keep on planting the trees. And he found such uh, inspiration by talking to trees, and he would say that the trees are like his children. I thought at that moment I didn't understand so much or the funda behind it. But as I read, I grow wiser, I think we all must have some purpose. I hope we will all find our purpose sooner or later, or do the exercise of Ikigai to find our purpose. Okay, I have a purpose. How do I get there? How do I pay my bills? I absolutely love to play guitar, and but I don't get paid much because of that. I'm not yet famous. I haven't become A.R. Rahman, and what do I do? But I have too many things on my plate. What do I do? I say start early. The next segment I wanted to talk about is financial fitness. More than ever, it is the necessity of the times that we all become aware and we all become fit with finance. Very important. I'm from a very low class middle family. It was like, okay, the money comes in, it goes out, it takes care of expenses, and so on and so forth. The savings was okay, it was there, but not so much. And lower middle class always has this, or upper middle class even, because our lifestyle warrants cash flow and the expenses come and goes. But these days, the inflation becomes the important aspect of things. I'll just quickly talk about what is financial fitness is your ability to manage your money, your ability to become friends with money is what is financial fitness. How prepared are you to handle unexpected, expected expenses or events in your life? Financial fitness. If you are somebody who is going to start early, if you are somebody who's going to graduate, who just graduated, I really want you to do this. Your cash flow, I want you to have three components in it. You know what your income is, whether you are self employed or you have your own business or you're salaried, doesn't matter. Now that the banks are so automated, I want you to create three bank accounts, one for your salary or income, one for your expenses, and one for your savings. Now, you may ask, how do I know? I'm just starting fresh. How do I know my expenses? You do this exercise very carefully, very mindfully. You know your income is a certain amount, your expenses, you start writing it down under categories, writing or putting it in Excel sheet, whatever works for you. You put that money aside in that bank. You only take money from that bank to use for your expenses. Your third bank, your savings bank, you do not touch it. You don't touch that money for nothing. You keep that very safe. There is a term, it's called Kaikobo, art of saving. It's about how mindfully can we spend our money. Mindful expenses. How much money you have available? How much would you like to save? How much are you spending? And how can you improve? You do this exercise without fail, either every week or every month, whichever time that is convenient to you. But do that. So you stop reducing. I'm not asking you not to enjoy your life. See, the life is very limited. You must enjoy. At the same time, be very mindful about it. Do not do things that you could have avoided. For example, let's say I go to Pizza Hut every weekend. You could try cutting it down. It's good for your health. Instead of 4 times a week, do it 3 times, do it 2 times, etc. It's about mindful spending. So once you categorize your expenses, it becomes it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit of mindful spending. I go to a grocery store. I make a list before I go to the grocery store. So I don't buy things and I throw things. I can give you a real time example during this COVID lockdown. In my apartment, every vendor came in. And so what happened? I spent mindlessly. I never ate so many mangoes in my life, so many varieties of mangoes. And half of them went to the garbage can because I just thought it. I just want to taste mangoes, and there they are. And I spent it, I wasted money. Similarly, there are so many things that we would do. We go to a mall, we just buy clothes, whether we need it or not. We like it, we buy it. We may use it 1 or 2 times, and there it goes. Same with shoes. Don't do this. I want you to turn your muscles to mindful spending. Very important. I want you to enjoy life, by the way. You say, I love movies. I go to movies every weekend. That's all right. But you see how many times you have to go to movies, how many times you want to spend money on popcorn and pizza, etc. Be very mindful of it. I want you to, this is an example of your financial life. It's an Excel sheet. There is a tool called Mint by Intuit that I use. I also use an Excel sheet. You categorize it. You write it down. You categorically put everything down so that you know how much you spend. It's very important. Once you do that, once you start doing it every week, you sit at the end of the month and you see how much can you have avoided and how much you would have saved. Again, it is not about being foolish. It's about not being, not enjoying your life. Be very clear about it. You put a little budget for your movie going or anything, your entertainment. You put a budget for it and you spend within that limit, is what I'm trying to say. Do not go over the budget. There will be times we will do it when we go with friends or family, etc. Right? But be very mindful about it and cut down the next time. Financial fitness. Why? Okay, now I talked about, okay, you have a cash flow, you have expenses. The third thing is about sales. So one of the things that we talked about savings is that you just simply don't put it in the bank, but you must make the money grow for you. Why? Because growing here, we have what is called inflation. The second thing is there is a wonderful formula called the compound interest. All of you must be knowing that. And we have plenty of investment options. I really insist all of you please start early to reap the benefits. And I will also tell you a couple of things about how can you get started and how do you protect your loved ones. I'll come to that a little bit later. Just excuse me for just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Sorry about that. What is inflation? Did you know that Coffee Day, when they started, a cup of coffee was about 7 rupees? And today it is 130 rupees. That is 13% per annum inflation. And in 2035, we expect it to be 800 rupees. Now, if I put my money in savings, whatever is the interest rate, that is what it would have fetched me. So I must be investing my savings in something that grows with inflation. Not grows with inflation, but it's inflation included investment. Inflation included investment. That is where I must be putting my savings. You get this example of inflation and you get the example of why savings and how should your savings should go. You must put it in an instrument that grows with inflation, that takes into account inflation. For example, if I have invested in Coffee Day, let us say Coffee Day includes whatever ingredients it needs, the ingredients grows with the inflation, so is their profit and loss are accounted with inflation. You get that example, I hope. So I must be investing in something that includes inflation cost in it. This is where we talk about power of compounding. You all know simple interest formula and you also know about the compound interest formula. Here is an example. What is compound interest? Why am I stressing so much? Is that suppose if I take part of my savings and invest in an instrument and which I don't need it for a long period of time, we'll come to that a little later. We talk about short term, medium term, and long term. But when you do that, when you invest in these instruments and you do not take it for a long period of time and you do not take the interest also, here is an example. We take the compound interest, we invest about, this is represented in dollars, but you get the idea. If I invest 1 lakh rupee and it is 10% interest, I get that interest, I again invest in the interest grows and grows. This is an example. In 10 years, what I invested as 1 lakh has become 25 lakhs. It is an example of how compounding works. Okay, now we talked about the purpose, we talked about cash flow, we talked about three things: savings, expenses, income. I want you to create a concept called money box. I talked about how to take care of your loved ones. You'll come to this one. So as you get wiser in age, once you graduate from GCT, you may get a job, you may do higher education, whatever it may be. I want you to create this money box. Now, the money box should have 6 components. One is your emergency fund, one is your health cover, one is your life cover. Now, this life cover is kind of different because when you're young, you don't have dependents, nobody is going to miss you. You don't need to get the life cover. But as you get more dependent, and if somebody is going to miss you in your absence, let us say, then you have to get life cover. And I'll just quickly say, in India, please get only term life cover. Do not go for any other means of life insurance. Only term life will do. Now, this time, term life, 10 times your annual salary. You will keep on buying this over periods of time. Let's say when I start life cover at the age of, let's say, 28 years old, you may have to revisit multiple times and buy multiple policies, term life insurance at various policies, various ages, 25, 35. As your income increases, see, one thing about it is that when we start, all of us start, we'll start with a little salary, and as we progress, we get more experience, we will have the ability to earn more. Or when we start a startup As we progress, we'll make more money. Or when you do your business, you will learn how to expand your business, so on and so forth. So your income increases, so is your lifestyle. To cover all of it, you need to increase this life cover at a particular period. You decide whether it is every 5 years, every 10 years, you decide when you want to do this. But keep buying only term life insurances in India. The second thing I wanted to cover is health cover. These six components, you must have it. Health cover is, if you see in India, the health sector has become a business. You go to any hospital for anything, whether it is diabetes, heart surgery, this and that, your room charge, your medical charge, your post charge, it all goes over the roof. Very important to have health cover. Some of you who are salaried, you will have your insurance policy in place, that is group insurance that the company takes care of. That is not sufficient alone. You will have to buy extra health cover, so that, and it should be a floating, so all your family members are taken care depending upon their conditions, etc. Sometimes the health cover is a very big topic. I'll just quickly give you an idea. Uh, your group insurances have uh, health cover is about taking care of, sorry, what was I saying? Health cover. Okay. I talked about group, right? And you have to have extra health cover. We call it top up, or you buy something extra. Basically, you put little money, so your risk is taken care. If you have to lose your job or something happens, there is some health cover that will protect you. The very important component is emergency fund. I'll take your questions and then I will answer them just a bit. Emergency. Emergency is the money that you would need that should be always available to you at any point in your life. Very important. I will give you a guidance on how this thing is, how much money it is. Because I am giving this talk, I said emergency fund is the queen, but normally they say emergency fund is the king, right? 6 to 12 months is your monthly must-have expenses if you're youngsters, or 18 to 24 months if you're married and with kids. Very important. It may be your cash at home or that is in wallet, savings account, bank balance, your fixed deposits, emergency funds and liquid funds, and short-term money. The third level is your provident fund. I really want you to think about the provident fund in India. There is a difference between provident fund and national pension scheme. Okay, I want you to learn about it. National pension scheme is something that you can access only after 60 or 70 years of age, and that is for pension only, as it says. CPF, on the other hand, you can take loans, and otherwise, I mean, it's available everywhere. Even in banks, you have this provident fund. And if you're employed, you have what is called employee provident fund, where your employer also matches. I think it's about 12% is what I think at the moment. Um, so there is provident fund. Other than your employee provident fund, you may also invest in public provident fund. It's up to you. And there are some tax-free schemes that you can think about. Again, when I talk about all these things, I wanted to make a disclaimer. I'm neither associated with any financial institution nor am I a financial advisor. I'm only telling you ideas so you can take it and work out what you have to do. Uh, I really want you to study all these things. India depends on young people, and I want you all to be financially fit so you can do everything that you want. I talked about this. Okay, the third thing I talk about in my money box is short term, medium term, and long term. It's all ideas. Short term is something like in 0 to 2 years you will need. Medium term is about 2 to 5 years, and long term is 5+ years. Now, Anybody who is watching IPL matches know what mutual fund is because Dhoni goes for it. Shikhar Dhawan says you should invest in mutual fund. Every other person says mutual fund. What is this mutual fund is all about? As you know, every company they raise funds from public, and that is called IPO, initial public offering. They raise funds to run their business or to expand their business. And to invest in a specific company is always a risk because we do not know how much, how their profit and loss or how their operating style is, etc. As they say, you do not put all of your eggs in a single basket. You must have it in different baskets, or you have different things in your basket. So your risk is very less. Mutual fund is such that there is a mutual fund for everything. Believe me, whether it is short term, medium term, long term, etc. When we talk about long term, this is the money that you won't need for a long period of time. You don't even think about it. You forget about this money even there for a long period of time that you may need it for your whatever it is, for your own higher education. Let's say after 6, 7 years, you think about, okay, I want to do my MBA, or I want to do my master's, or I want to do my PhD, whatever it is, and I need some assistance. That is your long term. Short term, I want to buy a bike, a scooter, whatever. Medium term, okay, now that I'm married, I wanted to buy a house. I want a down payment for my house, etc. That is your medium term. I want you to learn about this mutual fund. Mutual fund is nothing but a basket of different stocks that would suit your need. And I also want you to learn about equity linked savings scheme or ELSS. This is for tax savings. In India, a lot of money goes for tax. And whatever way that we can save some tax, you do that. Learn about it. They call it 80 if you donate it for a non-profit organization, or if you put it in national, what is that called, NPS, etc. Some of them are tax savings. And also FDs, 5+ years of FD. If you put FD, if you open an FD for 5+ years, then that is also, it comes under tax savings scheme. Not only that, there is the government of India issues, there is rural electricity bond. Bonds are there. If it gives you good interest, you must think about it as well. All I'm trying to do here is to think about your financial fitness in terms of this. Go remember this concept all the time. You need emergency funds in case anything happens. Your health cover, life cover. Life cover you will only go if you have dependents and over 25 years of age. You will also think about short term, medium term, long term. Plan it. Then you have your financial fitness. I also want you to do one more thing, which is to create a sheet where you put everything that you have. See, in India, when I grew up, when we talk about savings or anything like that, one was real estate and another was gold. India is a country um, which just bought and bought. Akshaya, whatever that festival that comes where everybody goes and buys. Unless otherwise you wear, you have love for gold jewelry. I ask you not to invest in gold. Rather, go for gold bonds. The government of India does it. Post office has schemes where you can invest in gold bonds, which fetches you good interest as well. So, gold, jewelry, unless otherwise you love to wear, do not buy it. Do not invest in gold. Um, Rather, you buy gold bonds. This is my take. Okay, so consult your financial advisor for your own needs. Real estate. Real estate, India has spectacular real estate boom. and people invested. The price, I remember in 2008, the houses in Bangalore, the apartments were 30 lakhs rupees, a three-bedroom, very decent house. Come to 2011, the same house, three bedrooms, went for 85 lakhs. Within some time, it went to 1 crore, uh, 16 lakhs, some exorbitant amount. Now, the boom is there, the market is stagnant, and those who bought at the very peak price, they are all wondering. This COVID kind of time, you have your EMI sitting, all those things, and you have your own bills to pay. The time when you thought you're going to buy a couple of houses, and all of them are going to give you rent, so you have a fixed cash flow. It works. I'm not disputing that fact, but I'm not sure whether that is a good idea going forward. Whether our Indian real estate market is still going to go boom, I do not know that. If you are going to take a risk, it's up to you. But as long as you have one roof over your head, or you have a bunch of money that you just want to buy houses and give them for rent. Now, the thing about renting is you also carry this repair cost, and anything that happens, you must have to have people who will rent your house, and that anxiety whether it will go for rent or not, and you have maintenance, all those things you will have to put every number and see if that asset is going to give you the cash flow that you are thinking about. The cash flow diagram that we saw before, whether this box, the income box, whether it will keep on getting that income. You don't want to be expenses increasing, not income. And so you must put everything down here. You have your Excel sheet at all times. Always think about it. Whether, as I said, short-term goals, long-term goals, you write it down. So you're always clear. This is where I want to go. Am I in the right path, etc. Summary, create your money box. Start early, very important. Which don't even tell me I don't have time. Start early, learn it. It's not big magic, very easy. There are many investment companies which are doing it, and invest. Be very strict about your financial fitness. The amount of time that you take care of your physical fitness, the same amount of time and effort you must do in your financial fitness. I'll just look at the questions very shortly. Of course, the question is, can this sheet be shared with the participant? Yes. And what is your opinion about wealth? What exactly the wealth is? Whether it is time, money, or anything else, it's up to you. What's your wealth? Right? A very rich person. I will tell you the story. Once there lived a very rich person. He had everything. He wasn't happy. And one day he said, okay, he donated a bunch of money to an orphanage. And his friend said, why don't you come? And we are going to buy wheelchairs for the kids. Uh, why don't you come and give it to the kids? So this man went. He had everything. Had a very big villa, had a BMW car, bunch of money in the savings. Something was missing. He went to this orphanage, and there was this kid. He gave wheelchairs to all these kids, and one kid was pulling his pants and said, "Come down." Uh, and when he kneeled down, the kid looked at him and he said, "Why are you looking at me like this?" He said, "Suppose when I meet you again in heaven, I'll remember to thank you." That is wealth. What is wealth? Your ability to make a difference in somebody's life, in my opinion, is wealth. It's my opinion. You can take it however you want. Money is not wealth. Okay, we talked about purpose. We talked about, okay, I have a purpose. How do I get there? If I have to pay bills, so we talked about financial fitness. I have a purpose, I have the money. What about me? If I am not okay, how will I do anything about it? If the river Ganga is dry, how will she reach her destination? How will she make a change? How will the land be fertile if she's dried up? That is why self-care is very important. What is self-care? You see, the ability to be damaged by disorder is called, okay, I'm a fragile person. If an event comes, my ability, if there is a setback, my ability to come back to normal is resilience. My ability to grow from disorder is anti-fragile. This is a term you must remember. I'll tell you an example. I hope you all watch movies. There is a very particular movie. I'm not a big Rajni fan, but there was this movie called Shivaji. There is this person who comes from US, makes a bunch of money, he wants to do good, blah blah blah. He goes through something, and political things. He gives a fight. Whatever setback that happens to him, he fights back without losing his cool, losing his purpose. That is resilience. But when he comes back as Motabas, the very end, Vanditen Silver, that is anti-fragile. He grows from the disorder, makes an impact. That, my friend, is called anti-fragile. I know it is not a very professional talk to compare a particular movie, but I wanted to give you that example. And so you understand our purpose, the way that we have to lead our life, the way that we have to improve ourselves is becoming anti-fragile, grow from disorder. In order to grow from disorder, I must take good care of myself. That is what it is, self-care. I wanted to talk about components of self-care. I have my physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual, personal, and professional. Let's set this professional aside for a minute. My physical. I can't insist enough, guys. Just give me a second, please. 1 minute. Sorry about that. Your physical health is much, much, much important, specifically for girls. Our body goes through tremendous amount of changes after childbirth. If you choose not to have children, that's fine. But once your body goes through those changes, I mean, you don't even know what your body went through. You must at all times take good care of your physical health. Exercise, healthy diet, and making sure you go to a doctor for your medical checkups. There are tons of things that are happening. Whether it is, and I don't want to go very in detail. I do not know the audience who are here, but for the boys who are listening to this, make sure your spouse goes through all these medical checkups periodically. Make sure their diet, exercise, everything, both of you, all of you in your family, make sure physical exercise is a priority and good sleep. These days, I've heard, and the sleep deprivation, they say, insomnia, they say, a lot of names they call it. Your ability for a good sleep is so important at all times. Whether it is 4 hours, 5 hours, doesn't matter. Everybody has a different body clock, the rhythm in which they do. So, very important to take care of your physical. And I live in a place that's surrounded by PGs. Most of them are from North India. The amount of importance people give either their grooming or physical fitness is amazing. When I graduated from college, the physical fitness fund and all, we had a lecture. Her name is Santini Suresh. I forgot her name. She's the first one to say girls must walk every day morning. Get up. Don't sleep till 7:30. Don't eat in a hurry, in a mess, and blah blah. Nothing like we didn't understand. Only when you experience things, you understand the importance of physical exercise. Please take good care of yourself in the physical realm. Psychological. I wanted to give you much importance to the psychological. I journal a lot. I write everything down. I used to be a person. They say when there is a stimulus and you're going to give a response, there is there must be a space in between. Without this, when the space decreases, we are only hurting ourselves. Stimuli comes, response goes out, and you are the one who gets affected. The moment we start increasing the space, we think about decisions, we pause, we reflect. Should I do this? Should I not do it? Write it down, journal it. Nothing like it. When I go back to my journal a couple of years back, I laugh at myself. Is this how I thought about things? Is it how even things were? Did I perceive it that way? And create hobbies, very much so. Remember this Ikigai thing that I just showed you a long time back? Let me quickly do what you love to do. You may love to do your dance. You may just love to do your painting. You may just love to sing. You may love to write. Samarai ma'am, who is GCT, she writes beautiful poems, isn't it? That's what you love to do. Explore it and try it. If you are good at it, you are good at it. You never know. I remember watching this particular episode of MasterChef uh, where they talk about a particular person, IBM manager, and she decides that cooking is her love, and she goes. What starts as a hobby becomes a profession. Please make sure you have positive friends and family. Emotional well-being. I can't insist enough. The moment we watch our emotions, it does plenty of good for you. The moment we understand how these thoughts work, what we do, etc. See, a lot of it is from our child bringing itself. Sometimes we put everything under the carpet, and sudden some trigger brings all those things up. We don't even know why we react in a way that we reacted. I want you to be very careful of your emotional health. If you have to, please reach out for professional help. In India, this professional help is considered like a taboo. But I really want you, um, if you do not have trusted friends with whom you can share your feelings or uh, anything like that, please reach out for uh, professional help. Spiritual. See, I'm not talking about religious here. I'm not at all talking about religious. Anything that calms you down, whether it is meditation or listening to music, whatever that is, that creates calmness. Please do that. Prayers, mindfulness techniques, and yoga, meditation, whatever that is. And a plan. You have to have, just like how you have your financial fitness, have goals. Your short term, long term, medium term goals. Leave that professional aside because you guys are anyway going to do it because you have to make money to pay your bills or support your family or whatever. These five things very important for your self-care. Now, I used to think how this yoga helps me in any way. I just do a bunch of asanas, go up and down, breathe, etc. Something beautiful happens when you watch your breath. There is a thing called radio non-stop. We keep on thinking about things. The moment I sit down, I think about my child's exam that day, or that I kept milk on the stove, or how I'm late to call the gas cylinder guy. My gas is running out. All kinds of things. The moment you pass your thought, something beautiful happens. Remember, stimuli and response. The gap increases. You pause, reflect. You turn inward and you think about things, about yourself. My reaction, is it necessary? Is it related to the goal that I'm setting myself to? Is it relating to the purpose that I'm thinking about? This is what I do. I set goals for myself. I mean, this is very short list, but I do every year. I have certain goals, whether it is my learning, my career, my relationship, my lifestyle, spirituality, recreation. It can be a vacation. I just love to go to, let's say, Kulu Manali. I have I have it as a goal. That becomes my money box goal also. I want to go Kulu Manali in a year or two. That becomes a goal. Kids. I work towards my kids. I tell you, your life changes completely differently when you have kids. Suddenly you have to become more responsible than you are. Last thing, I'll quickly finish this. I have about 5 minutes left. Is social. I can't insist enough. Please get involved in giving back to the community. It does two good things for you. One, it puts you back to where you belong. Really, trust me on this. Because when you interact with people, you learn so much from them. My life's biggest lesson came from very ordinary people. I learned about time management from my house helper, Lakshmi Amma. She is no more, but she comes exactly at 9 o'clock. She used to come at 9 o'clock. I don't even need to look at her. I asked her, "You just simply come to clean my house, or why are you so punctual?" She says, "That's my, if I have to say that now, it is her ikigai. What brought her was she wants to be so happy that she's able to clean my house so clean. The tiles are so marvelous looking. My vessels are so great looking. That brought her happiness. And so she would come exactly at 9 o'clock. I learned time management from her. I learned about the art of saying no from a driver who used to help me. I don't drive in India, but I used to have a driver. He once asked me money, and I said, maybe I'll do it. He asked me a couple of times. I was postponing it for a couple of times. And then one day he said, "Ma'am, isn't that simple for you to say yes or no? If you said yes, I look forward for your help. If you say no, I'll find other avenues by which I will get that money. By dragging it, what you're doing to me is to giving me hope. And at the end of 3 weeks, if you tell me I can't help you by giving me money, I will be disappointed. Please work with me. Give back to the community." I'll tell you a very short story. During this Corona time, around my apartment, there were people whom we were distributing rations to. And I went there and I was talking to them. And there was this lady. She said, "Ma'am, I didn't get, uh, I got the ration.
இங்க
But
வா,
you know,
இங்க பாரு மென்டல் ஹெல்த் எப்படி என்ன பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காரு.
okay, could you please mute just a few minutes? Okay, so I went to this place and then there was this lady. She said, "Ma'am, I got the ration. But you know what? I'm only with my son. But my next door neighbor has 5 kids. So I gave my ration to her." I was like stunned.
அப்படி
You,
பாத்திரத்தையும் அது கழுவிக்குவியா?
could you please mute? I request the host to mute somebody's mic, please. Thanks. All right. And so that generosity, even if my friend said, he gave me $1 million, that humbleness I felt that day. The way that lady said that I gave my ration to my neighbor because she has 5 kids, in spite of her not having enough for her. She had the generosity and the heart to give it to somebody else. That, my friend, you will not learn unless otherwise you involve yourself with community. I am a volunteer with the Shankara Eye Hospital in Coimbatore. When Coimbatore Hospital started, we were performing free eye surgery for all the rural poor. And our vision was to create 2020, which is the perfect vision for all the people of India. The only way we could do it is we have to do it all over India by creating eye hospitals in every state of India. And I'm very proud that I was involved in creating a hospital in Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat. So, if you have to do something for yourself, good mental health, please be active, eat healthy, please get involved in community. You will feel a lot more, you will learn a lot more about yourself. And please love yourself for whoever you are. It's much more important. The moment if I make mistakes, I am not wrong. I made a mistake, yes, but that doesn't make me I am a mistake. Please love yourself for whoever you are, whatever it is, and it is real. The problem is here. Before we used to have joint families. I had my own age group to whom I would talk about my problems. They would give me advice. Now we are all nuclear families. We take so much, whether it is our work pressure, peer pressure, whatever it is. Please make sure it is get out of the taboo, go get some help, and please protect yourself because you're worth it. I wanted to very quickly touch upon friends. Please set boundaries. Very important. In work or your relationship with friends, please set boundaries. Please protect yourself. It's a digital world. Anything, everything that is shared digitally gets stored in your Google Drive, wherever it is. And so you know who you are talking to. Remember this pyramid. Up the pyramid, let the people. Please set boundaries so you can be protected. Whatever that, suppose, it's very normal for us to talk to our friends about our problems. And if that friend, doesn't take too much serious about it and they go talk to another friend about your problem, you become a conversation point for people. You don't want that. You're so worth it. So learn to set boundaries in workplace or in your personal relationship. Learn to say no. I don't want you to talk about me. No, this is what I want. Please do that. So you are uh, cared for. I love this. The problem is, and even if you make mistakes, remember this. Take the responsibility for it. Yes, I made a mistake, so I don't repeat it. The demon is always within. The God is always within. The battlefield is always within. And so is the time of one over the other. Which one over which? Somehow, the choice is within. If I want to be a demon or God, it's up to me. Sometimes the head says, do not hate that person too much. Forgive others for your own sake. Do not envy your friend's success. But there are times when the heart does not listen. At times like this, give prayer a try. It worked for me. It's not religious. Prayer connects the path between head and heart. Ask humbly for help with what seems to be impossible at the moment. I do not know, there is a book, how many of you read, The Alchemist? It says, when you want something so bad, the entire universe conspires you to have it. And so, let me summarize by saying, make use of tools. there is a tool called OOP. You wish for something and you know what's the outcome, obstacle, and plan. I'm past 3 minutes, but just make use of things and absolutely, undoubtedly be your authentic self. You're the author of your story, no one else. Take responsibility for your actions. Love all the imperfect things about you. None of us here are perfect. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, but it's about learning to dance in the rain. Thank you for the opportunity. You all have a good evening. Now I'll just look at the questions and
Hello, ma'am. Yeah, that was an enlightening talk. I think we don't have much questions, but we'll go with the post-discussion session. But before that, I will hand over the session to Sundar Ganesh for the closing credits. Sundar Ganesh, over to you.
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I need to thank the speaker of today's session, Ms.Niranjana Balasundaram, ma'am, who spent his valuable time with us. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you for the opportunity. I really would like to thank Dr. Prasanna, Sundar Ganesh and team. Absolutely delighted that I was given an opportunity to talk to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. And then I need to thank our Honorable Principal Dr. P. Thamare, ma'am, who continuously supporting us to run this session. And also I need to thank the Secretary of GCT Alumni Association, Dr. V. Prasannamuthi, sir. And then I need to thank the Vice Club of GCT Youth as well as GCT Alumni Association who running this session successfully. And finally, I need to thank all the participants who all are gathered here. I hope that it was a wonderful session for you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sundar Ganesh, for that wonderful closing credits. I'm just going to stop the live stream, and then participant can just stay for a post-discussion session with the speaker. Others can leave.